So that's the big thing this season, my paints. I've had paints for years because when Dylusions was mine. But when we came into Ranger, we just went to the inks. So people are like, oh, paints are new for Dylusions. No, then, you know, we've had them a long time. I use them in lots of different ways. I do the blocking technique, which is like this, where I use Tim's mini blending tools. I use baby wipes in there. This is the brayering. This is the brayering technique there. So this is what I'm going to do now. Not many people paint with the brayer, but a lot of people are frightened to paint and frightened to mess. So brayer is a really good way of getting them introduced to things like that. Okay, so I'm going to start with the pale colour. My paints, can you see, are just really fluid. Can you see? They're not a full-bodied paint. They're really, so they dry. They're a quick drying paint. So I'm just going to pick some paint up, put it on the mat. I'm working on our media paper. This is the same that's inside my journals. Okay, we've finally got the paper, so that's what I'm working on. It's not the same size as the journals because the journals are English size. So I just take the brayer and just fire it up with paint. Now the object is not to give a good roll of paint. The object is to sort of skip bits. Can you see? So I'm just getting paint. You know, I've got all bits doing. This is just the way I like to do it. And then I just sort of add a little bit elsewhere as well. So you can see there's no mess. When you've done so much, you can't actually pick that up off there because with the brayer, because it's two solid surfaces hitting two surfaces. So what I do is I write in it, or I draw in it, or I make shapes in it, and I would take a tag and I'd just do a monoprint. Cool. See, so you've got a monoprint in there. So you're picking up all that's on there, okay, and you're making another tag as you're going along. So I will be doing videos and things. Oh, I can't believe it. I mean, I have to go to Frankfurt and I've got to teach at my place, but I'm in my bed. I'm in my own bed with my cat. So I just put another colour straight on the top. You can see I don't use too much paint. And I just scrape everything off, saves you cleaning it. And I'm just going to do the same, but this time I'm just going to go in a slightly different area. I don't want to go straight at the top. My paints are semi-opaque, so that you can see what's underneath. Do you see what I mean? You can actually see what's underneath. This one I'm going to deepen, I'm going to put more of the red on here, but you'll still see all the texture coming through. Can you see?
There's back.
Yeah.
Oh, that's smart. Oh, look at that.
So it's just, you know, the start of one. And then I'll build up with other colours and things over the top another time. And you can either leave that to dry and scrape it off, or I'm just going to use a
Wipe.
yeah, I use kitchen roll. I always use it dry. Baby wipes spread, whereas kitchen roll will the paints are compatible with the inks, which you don't always get with paints. A lot of paints resist inks, so mine are specially made that they all go together. Actually, I'm going to put another colour on here. I'm going to put something on that you wouldn't really put. If you put green and orange make brown, but because this is dry, look, even after all those layers. So I'm going to add some green on, and it's just so you can see how the paints are, how they work with one another. You see, it doesn't mix and make brown, it's still green. So you can add in all these different colours. So it'll just bring... my work is really organic. I'm always starting another page all the time. So then on here, what I'll do now is I'll go back and I will take the inks. I've done that. You can see how you start building them up, and you can see, look, the inks just are so compatible. And these are Tim's mini blending tools. And you can place one on top of the other because you can still see, because they're layerable, you can still see the things coming up. Black always makes all your other colours pop.
You've done it a few times. So.
I keep asking for a black journal and I don't get one. So I make my own now.
Perfect.
But watch how quick.
Stop asking now then?
No. Yeah, I might do now actually. Because people think this is black. People are like, oh, how do you get black pages in your journal? But look how quick.
That is awesome. Wow. It's dry that quick.
Yeah. And then you can spray on the top, so You see, it just looks like black card. Then the white will go on the top of it like this. That's colour on. There was there's a skeleton, a skull one. Can't find it there. So again, the paint will go on top and still show up. But it's not like you've painted or anything. It's just it's Dylusions.
It's crazy.
It is. It's crazy. And then just go straight over the top of the mask. And then it will leave the image underneath. Never be frightened to cover your colourful backgrounds with black, because the black will make the background pop. And it's a bit similar to this one, I'll do.
That's really cool.
Because having black in your journals, it just helps offset all the bright colour that's in there. So that was using the shape, and then to stamp inside them I'd use the background. Just place it back on.
And that's just a dry paper towel?
Always dry paper towel. Kitchen baby wipes spread everything, so
okay.
Yeah, dry paper towel. And then because it's on paint, it doesn't dry instantly, so you need to just heat it to dry, or or move on to something else. And do. There, you see, that's when I started some writing through. And it's the same with these silhouette images, they work the same. You have a stencil, you have a mask. And then you just take a pen. In my usual, very neat, precise way. then I could decorate, I could start decorating around there, but I like to then maybe go in with another stencil. I'm going to use the white. And you can see through the stencils, so you can see where to stencil. Do you see what I mean?
How do you know when you're finished?
Yeah. I don't know.
I thought you were finished long ago. That's so good.
Well, sometimes I am. Sometimes I'll just move on to another page, and sometimes I'll just keep going. And you know, they all look different, so it doesn't really matter.
Right.
No, it's when I've lost interest.
Do you ever leave it when you lose interest and then come back? And
Yeah, I lose interest all the time. I have mental issues, so my mind just goes from one to the other. You know, so yeah.
But then do you come back?
Sometimes, yeah. I work on 8 things at once.
Yeah.
So you know, I do. It depends what I'm doing. It depends where I am. If I'm on a plane most of the time, so that's when I finish the things off and do my doodling and stuff like that. You know, it just depends really whether I'm at a show or doing how bored I am. Or so I'm just going to make this one stand out.
What white pen is that? I'm sorry, I just.
This one is a Sharpie. I
Is it
use
oil-based
anything.
or is it
No,
acrylic-based?
it's water-based.
It's hard to find a good white pen that does that so easily.
No, they all work. You just all use them too quick. Your paint has got to be totally dry. Ink, you shouldn't use them for 24 hours. I use any pen there is. It doesn't bother me. Any white pen I will pick up and
The part
use.
is white though when I get it out there. That's what I'm saying. It's not as white on the background.
Depends what you're putting it on. You will never get a white pen on ink because ink will pick up the colour that's underneath. So ink will always alter. On paint, you should get a white. White should be white on paint. So I don't know whether you're doing it on a combination maybe of something, but ink, you will never get a white on ink.